imagine being in an old folks home for dental people? Like we would just be like, your denture needs some cleaning.
I might not want to be in there.
Thank you so much for joining us today on The Learning Curve. We normally get together once a month to be able to have lunch and talk about different things going on in dentistry and what can be, going a little bit better, what we can see improvement with. But I'd like to introduce you to my family here. I'm Lynn. This is Teresa, Beverly, and Malika. And what I'd like to start with now is, Malika, I'll put this to you.
Okay.
There's so many changes in technology, and it's just wide open now compared to how it's been within the last few years. How have you been talking about that with your clients?
I think really being able to utilize the AI, I say that what's creeping and coming and it's growing so fast. It's the text to pay. I think we kind of started that a little bit with COVID because people were in their cars and, they were like, okay, text and don't come inside. Pay us. It was really what was happening.
Stand at the door.
I mean, literally said, don't come in.
Just pay.
Yeah. So everybody was scrambling to get just pay.
I like that. That's my new tagline, just pay.
Don't come in. We don't want to see you. But we had text when you're when you're in your car. I even still have a client that has the sign in his parking lot that says text when you arrive.
Still?
Oh yeah, and he's like, it works. We don't need people to come up front and hover on the front desk. And I'm like, okay, if it works, that works. But really, honestly, I think that has really advanced with a lot of practices saying, okay, we'll continue utilizing that even for outstanding balances. Because, I, as a mom of two and just the busy life that I'm on the road, I'm in, on client sites and meetings, I don't have time to answer the phone at, 10 a.m. when someone's trying to call me from the pediatrician's office for me to pay a $25 balance. Yeah. I'd rather get a text, flag it when I'm sitting in the car while my kids have soccer practice to pay that. Honestly, and sometimes even if I try to call, I can't get a hold of anybody. Right. The billing person says, leave me a message and I'll give you a call back. And honestly, I'm annoyed. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to leave this document on the table and hopefully next time I come to the kitchen table, I can grab it.
Right.
It's the length of time, I guess, too, right? Like it's that, it extends out that billing cycle, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's like, as you said, like you're over 30 becomes you're over 60. Yeah. So like your AR is just getting bigger and bigger. And really, I'll say from the perspective of many pedo practices I work with, they're seeing 60, 70 patients a day average. Imagine how many statements that is, how many claims go out for those practices. So if you don't have efficiency of text to pay, or you really are losing that momentum. And even to add to that, like scheduling online. Yeah. Pedo scheduling, hygiene is not rocket science.
Yeah, I know, right?
And I know my pedodontists get a little annoyed with me when I say this to them, but I'm like, guys, your hygiene schedule is 30-minute
say
increment.
that on camera.
She's right.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's not rock, and I'm like, your pedo schedule hygiene is every 30 minutes. Let these parents that are overwhelmed, spread thin, when they put their kids to bed and that's on their to-do list, to schedule their kids' hygiene appointment at 10 p.m. from a link. It's amazing what it can do.
It's the whole, I think a lot of it is we don't want to get in trouble. So coming from a scheduler, manager point of view, I don't want to open up my calendar because somebody's going to stick something in there and then I'm going to get in trouble for it. Well, I mean, with online scheduling, you have to approve the appointment. So it's not like it just goes in there. But newsflash, if my assistant in the back answers the phone because I'm too busy, she's going to stick somebody in there anyways. So everybody's getting in trouble that day. Yep. So I'd rather have a little bit more control. But I think that's what was very scary for me about scheduling in general is I had to give up this was where everything was perfect and it was my way. Yeah. And so I remember back when I had to give up my paper appointment book and we went to computer scheduling and I was like, I mean, this is like a long time ago, right?
You're dating us, by the way.
Well,
I used that too with a blue pencil
I am
and a red
seasoned.
pencil.
Oh, wow. Seasoned.
We had a blue pencil and a red pencil.
yeah, and if you wrote in ink, I was fired.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so definitely being able to let go of that, I think I think I had adapted and was like, okay, I can let go of it a little bit. Everybody else started making appointments as well. I think we're going to see that curve with online scheduling. There's a lot of fear there.
You can at least start it with hygiene. You know, something
That's why I said
simpler.
hygiene.
Yeah,
Hygiene's
hygiene.
the easiest place.
Something
And
simpler.
the office that have tried it, they've never regretted.
Yeah.
They're always like, wow,
That's
Malika,
exactly
that was
right. Yeah.
great. Like, it's really working. Like, our schedule will be falling apart for tomorrow, and I'll come in the morning and there's like 8 requests of appointments for the same day. I mean, I get the comments from my clients that say, well, it's that family that I don't really want to see, so I don't want to lose it. But I'm like, it's either you have nobody on your schedule, or you have production in your schedule,
Right.
and your hygienist is just sitting there. Like, at least get 3 patients to come in, even if they're new patients love it the most.
Yes.
Let's be honest about that,
Yeah.
because
Yeah, they do.
they want the efficiency of just having the control to go online, and some of the reviews you read probably for your practices will say, love this office because of their technology.
And isn't it funny, the perception of an office using technology, automatically they think, oh, you're up to date. You're better than
Yes.
the one down the street
Yes.
that doesn't have that
Yeah.
ability. So this perception of technology, I think, goes a long way with our clients.
So let me date myself again because we.
Seems to be a theme today.
I think I need to start looking at like 55 and older communities. It seems like so. There's got to be an old folks home for dental people.
Discount here at
Can you
North
imagine what that would be like?
Oh Lord, I don't want to think about it. Did you hear what she just said? She said, "Can you imagine being in an old folks home for dental people? Like we would just be like, your denture needs some
That I might
cleaning."
not want to be in there with.
Oh my God! No, we're totally.
It'd be kind of funny to see that.
I know. Yeah, totally squirreled, but I could see that. Yeah.
Walker races.
Be like blinged out with implants, like implant. So, anyways, so with radiographs, we had the film radiographs, right? And we thought that they showed like amazing stuff, and then came digital, and we were like, oh my God. And then I remember the doctor saying to me, I need to go digital because I can't sell my practice if I don't, and I can't attract new associates. So fast forward to now, it's not digital anymore, it's AI.
Yeah.
You know, so we now are having to entice patients with that, but also associates. We said it in an earlier conversation. Associates are looking.
Oh, yeah, and also they want to, if you want them to be on the same page of treatment planning with you, that AI, that let's say like some company like Pearl, when they can scan that and see where the decay is, and then be able to educate each other, because these younger dentists want mentorship.
Yes.
You know, let's be like, that's the number one thing I hear. Like, what is that office going to mentor me if I? Like, they ask me my advice, and it's like, and then it really depends on technology mindset of that doctor.
Yeah.
Because if they're going in an office and there's paper charts all against the wall,
Right.
you know, you're not.
No,
You know, it's
I still hate to see that.
Yeah, and it's still going on.
I think so like softwares with AI and the connection that some of those now have, the integrations, yeah, exactly the word I'm looking for, the integrations that some of those have is really where the key is. Because also, you now have a lot of multi-specialty practices or group practices or people coming together. Now you sometimes have an owner who can now go in, let's say they have Curve, you know, can go in and log into Curve and look at what their associates are doing, what all is happening without having to physically be sitting there looking at everything, right? I see Pearl as a good add-on to a lot of those things because one of the biggest things is, no, it's not a complete diagnostic tool, but you can kind of monitor at least, what if you have a under-diagnosing a brand new associate out of school and they're not really diagnosing or they're not finding everything. You're not going to use it as what's going to actually be the diagnosis, but you're going to use it to say, hey, I see all this here, maybe I better go look at what they treatment planned or how their treatment plans are doing. So I see it as a good like checks and balances of things, utilizing softwares that merge and link with that too. So
A slam dunk with patients too, because if you are able to put it up on the screen, the patient automatically sees, okay, I really do need this. It's not, because let's be honest.
it helps. It helps.
Sometimes
We use it.
with
It
digital,
helps. Yeah.
regular digital radiographs, we would put it up on the screen and I would say, do you see this little spot right here? And you know that they're going,
I have no idea what you're
no
talking
idea,
about.
but
what you're talking-
okay,
yeah.
right? So with Pearl, that's not the case, or with any AI, it's not the case,
This
right?
is my thing. I would always be like, well, I know you can't see it, but I look at these all the time.
Right.
So I see it.
I used to say that too. Trust
I
me,
see
it's
it.
there.
You can't see it, but I see it.
There's a
It's
hole
right
in here too.
Right.
Now it's like, boom,
But it's so funny because you mentioned that it helps with associates, and honestly, I hadn't really thought about it from that angle because I was thinking more from treatment planning. we thought the intraoral camera was like the big thing, right? And now you've got AI.
Yeah.
Move over
Yeah.
intraoral. You've got this new technology where when the patient sees it on the screen and they're like, "Ooh, I don't want that," and it shows so much more. The depth of knowledge is so much more. And it doesn't take the place, because I know that I've talked to some clients of mine and they're like, "I'm really not interested in AI because it's going to take my place as a diagnostician." I'm like, "No, it's not. It works in partnership with you, and think about how it helps, be able to get patients to say yes to treatment."
Well, and from an insurance point of view,
Oh,
so
yeah.
what I love is that if I can show the patient ahead of time, like, so say you prep them, you show them, they've seen it, they truly believe it because the colors are there, they're visual, right? So if the claim comes back denied, it's going to be much easier for me to say, "Well, remember I showed it to you." I'm not sure why the employer chose a plan that doesn't pay for that, because it's very obvious it's payable. So maybe you could get on the phone with me, maybe, so it enlists the patient more, because honestly, like before, where I would say, "Trust me, it's there," like I would do the same thing. "Trust me, that dot is there. It's darker here, I swear." They're kind of like,
What are you talking about?
I think from a technology standpoint, I'm glad you asked Malika actually first, because I remember you telling me about, you have an office that's, I think, in Texas, that it's like has, not that I'm advising this under any circumstances, I'm just saying.
What's she gonna
That's gotta
say?
be good.
I'm just saying.
I'm like, what is she going to say?
I know.
I'm scared.
I know. Like, I'm ready to
Teresa's like, zip it. You have an office that is totally administrationless. They are kiosk check-in. They go in, they sit down.
And
There's like somebody on a video.
And I'll say, they
Hi.
have, and they have curve.
Yeah,
And it works for them phenomenally.
and they're totally.
The first time I went there, I'm like, hold on, how is this working? And I was like, Malika, I have to act like I know what I'm doing. Like this.
I did it the other day though at my lab. I did it at my lab the other day. I was shocked. I walked in, there was a kiosk sitting there. There's like nobody there. There's like a thing, and they were like, place your ID upside down like this on this little tray, and it scans all this stuff, and then it's like, put your insurance card in. And I was like, whoa! And guess where else I did it? At the eye doctor. At the eye doctor, I went to like one of those, in the mall eye places, and they were checking my eyes, and they're like, "Oh, the doctor will be right with you." So I'm like, okay. So I expect this doctor to walk in the door. All of a sudden, this lady's face comes up on the screen. And is like, "Hi, I'm your doctor," and I was like, "Hi, you scared me."
Did I tell you
I
guys?
can see you. I don't need glasses. I'm out of here.
There's a company, I saw it at SmileCon. There's this company, and they have the kiosk, and it's on a rolling, like a Segway type thing. I don't remember the company. Is that what they have? I was dying because I was walking by, and this is funny. I was walking by, and so imagine like I'm on wheels and I'm a kiosk. So you walk by, and I would turn. The wheels turn, right? They turn, and then as I walk by, she's watching me, and she's smiling, and I walked back, and she walked back with me.
Can I get you on a kiosk in my office?
Oh yeah.
I want
Just
you to be a
pay
kiosk
your
now.
bill.
Just pay.
But can I say,
I could use because I would love to have your
you and talking about that Texas office, I ironically had the end of year call with them, and their CPA was on the call. Their staffing overhead is under 20%.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So their profit margin is, one of the highest I've seen in the office that I've.
This is the Texas office.
Yeah, this is the one in Dallas. And I tell you, the first time I told them, I was like, I don't understand how this is working for you. And young dentist, wife is in technology, obviously, so she probably had a lot to do with
Technology and curve.
curve. Yeah,
The learning curve.
yeah, but it has worked for them so well, and they have raving over 300 5-star reviews. So obviously, that in-person interaction, not being upfront, hasn't really affected them as much as we think is so important.
What is it? Is it pedo ortho? Is it
Pedo General.
pedo general?
Pedo General.
I'm afraid of this for you, though, because I could see you purchasing that and then following Carl around the office on wheels. Like, could you see
I'm
that?
actually just gonna sit on a beach in Jamaica and be like, "Oh, hi, welcome to our practice. Excuse the big beach hat."
Oh my God. But that's one less person that you have to manage. That's one less piece of drama that you have to handle. Because as much as I love staff and getting good staff in, I want to keep them. But let's be honest, you guys, we've had some clunkers, and if the less clunkers, the better. So maybe that's a solution if you can't find good people. Or if your overhead is so out of control, I mean, getting it down to 20% is
Getting
amazing.
by with one person, even just having one
Right.
body.
And you know, his thing is, he's like, I rock it in the clinic.
And you could hire
Yeah.
a greeter that has had experience at Walmart to come in and sit at the desk and say, "Oh, your
you've
job
got
is to greet."
the girl on wheels.
Yeah,
that's
or the
going to-
wheel girl. Okay, yeah.
I mean,
the wheel girl.
And she was very nice. She had this nice, pleasant face. She was like, "Hey, do you have any questions?" I was like,
I mean, you know, hospitals have them. You know that hospitals have them.
Yeah, my
When my
husband
grandma
had-
was in the hospital, he would translate for her.
Y'all have seen restaurants now have this,
Yes.
right? They have the little
Boy, you know,
robot
the
servers.
lounges
Have you
in the
seen this?
yeah,
airport have
my
it.
son took full advantage of that at his college. He had robots delivering meals all the time. Yes, just don't bring that up.
Oh yeah, they do.
It was
Very expensive.
I did see that when my husband had emergency surgery, and they're like, "Well, would you like to pay here?" And this woman's coming at me on wheels, and she's like, "You can have your credit card ready." I'm like, "Well, what's the copay?" I mean, now I'm changing. You know, I'm the
Amazing. I would totally do this. You want to put me on wheels? I'll totally run your.
I do, because could you imagine if, look, think about this. We could just duplicate you. You can be in all these places. We have an insurance question. It's like, call Teresa on wheels. Get her in here.
Teresa on wheel.
Yeah, Teresa on wheels.
That's gonna be our new hashtag.
Just pay.
Oh God, I can't wait. You got to make this happen. But you know, one thing that when you were talking about staffing, I thought the one time that I can never find staff or could never find staff was when it was time to chart for the hygienist. So when you have now this AI that can do the charting and it's voice
Because the hygienists hate doing it, and
Right.
that's what their complaint is. They don't have enough time.
Right.
So it's like if they can get it done.
The other place is where, like, my assistants are there so long at the end of the day, figuring out their chart notes and doing whatever. That's non-productive time. When you're paying a team member to sit there and work on all that other work, that they're not physically chair-side having production happen, it's tremendous. So I would love to be able to cut that. So something like Bola